The answer's pigs in blankets. Hello, my name is Doddz. I work for a company called the Social Chain Group, which is built up of two companies, Media Chain and Social Chain. Media Chain own lots of pages and brands on social media, and they work with Social Chain, a social media marketing agency, to help the biggest brands in the world, Coca-Cola, Apple, you name it, to get the best results for those brands on social media. My job is working in the personal brand team and making a daily vlog for the CEO and co-founder, Steven Bartlett. And in the vlogs, we show this amazing office. There's always a lot going on. There's lots of dogs, lots of fun. The average age is 21 here, so there's lots of fun things always going on. And Digital Nomad Apparel are going to sit down with me now and we're going to talk about it.
So you used to be a street artist.
Mm-hmm.
When you did that, you were like festival.
Yeah, so embarrassing.
Why did you go?
So I was like 18 at the time. I was in my first year at uni and I wanted to start doing the street art, but I thought if I started doing it and nobody knew it was me, that people might, I wanted to like throw people off the scent. So I thought if I give myself a professor, that's sort of like, you know, you might think that I'm a bit older than I am. And then Pro Pig was like, I was listening to a lot of Dr. Dre. I was like, Dr. Dre, Pro Pig, Professor Pigment, you know, I just came up with that name. It didn't really work though, but that's what changed it.
Your most proud piece of street art?
The piece I'm most proud of was in Stoke, at the football club, there is a sort of famous fan called the Harry Potter, and he's like this big guy, big lovely jubbly guy. He paints his beard every week, so he's quite this well-known character, but he gives a lot for charity and stuff as well, and a lot of his time, he's got a lot of time for people, so I respect him for that. And I knew him from, not personally, but from a distance, but I knew it was his birthday because he'd asked me to come to his party as Professor Pigment, which obviously I couldn't do because I was this, nobody knew who I was, so I couldn't go. But what I did is when he went away for the weekend, I not broke into his house, but got into his back garden and painted the back wall of his house, where he sits at the Britannia. So that's probably the piece I'm most proud of. Or there was another one where it was Jordan Bundred. He passed away on holiday and he'd had a heart attack. He was about 14 years old, and his family, obviously devastated. He used to play a lot of football and he had this stand dedicated to him, and I was touched, but they'd asked me if I would paint it for them. So I went again one night and painted this huge stadium, like this big mural of him, and then just messaged the mother the next day saying that I was like, if I could do like, obviously I'm happy to do that if there's anything else I could do, to let me know. And then she was like quite emotional, so that's probably the two pieces I'm proudest of.
What made you decide to change from doing street art towards?
I really enjoyed doing the street art. I liked having the sort of complete creative control, but I wanted to, as an the problem with most artists is that they're not always great businessmen. So I wanted to learn more about business, and I thought by doing the vlogs for Steven Bartlett, the CEO of Social Chain, that I could learn a lot more. So that was the inspiration behind, well, not the inspiration, but that's why I changed. But also it was like a new creative challenge, as I'd never done anything in video before.
So you mentioned there Steven Bartlett. So how did you apply?
So I was working round the corner as a graphic designer 3 days a week, and then doing like 4 or 5 days doing the street art. So knew that I wanted to learn more about business, and then I got hit with one of Steve's Facebook ads. So I learned about him, and then when I learned that his office is literally like 300 yards away from when I was working, I became obsessed with getting into Social Chain. So I saw that they had just won an award, so you could describe them as a big fish, and I flew this big inflatable, it's like 5 foot, and it had like fins, which like paddled it in, bribed the building manager of 4 beers to let me in, and I flew this fish in, which had a memory stick attached to it, saying, it was like a video that was like well edited, so obviously highlighted the skills that I could add, but the video basically said that you're doing vlogs 1 day a week, I think you should do every day, so you'll get ahead of the curve, because in 6 months everybody will be doing vlogs. that's how I got in, and then obviously I had an interview and then went down to London with him. It took me like 4 months to get the interview, had the interview, went down to London with him the next day, and then quit my job the day after and started working at Social Chain.
So with Social Chain, you had the opportunity to go all over. Which has been your favourite place you visited?
My favourite place that we've travelled to has definitely been New York. I've been blessed with the opportunity to have gone. I've been 2 or 3 times now, and when we go, because there's a New York office over there, we're usually there for a few days rather than just the in and out travelling of if Steve's got a talk. So probably New York, just because that's like the heartbeat of the world, and there's always a lot going on. And when we're going from the airport to the office, my nose is pressed up against the window, so I'm just taking it all in because I don't know when might have the opportunity to come back here. So I'm always very grateful when we go out there. But also been to Vegas. That was quite good, just as an experience, just to like soak Vegas all up, and that was quite good.
You've had the opportunity to meet those amazing people. Whilst working for Social Chain. Who's had the biggest impact?
Okay, I would say Gary Vee's had a big impact on me. I was watching his stuff over like the last year when I was working at the marketing agency, less so now, but it was quite interesting to meet him. He's quite a full-on character, and there's definitely lots of useful information that you could absorb just from being in the room with him. But I would also say Steve has had obviously the biggest impact because he's pushing me to be like this best version of myself, and obviously, as I wanted to before I joined, learned a lot from him. So I'd say probably him or maybe Gary Vee.
What advice?
When I was 16, I had just failed all my A-levels, so I was in this moment where I could get a job at, I think it was Pizza Hut, or I could try and do the freelancing design stuff, which is something that I found quite interesting. And there was like a toss-up. I couldn't decide whether I was going to do this Pizza Hut job or try and do something on my own. And I would probably just say to myself, like, because I nearly did the Pizza Hut job, my life would have been very different probably if I'd have done that. So I would have just told myself not to, because I was doubting myself and what I could achieve, and that's why I was going to do the other one. I would say, just don't worry, just do what it is that makes you happy, and then, because I'm passionate about it, I'll work hard enough to make sure that I succeed. And also there was like a money thing as well. I needed money, so the Pizza Hut job, I would advise myself just to do what it is that I love, even though I can't make money necessarily now, but the money will hopefully come.
How do you say
When I was at uni, because I'm dyslexic, I got like £400 worth of free books, which I just thought was quite ironic anyway. Because I can't really read, they give you £400 worth of free books. But I bought lots of self-help books, so about how to stay motivated, which really changed my perspective. So I think that helped, I was having these feelings and then understanding why I'm having these motivational feelings, and I sort of keep them at the front of my mind. Sometimes listen to like motivational stuff, but really, I'm doing something that I enjoy doing, and I'm having a lot of fun whilst I do it, so there's not really much motivation. Like when I used to work in the bank, I had to motivate myself to get out of bed and, crawl across the stairs and have a shower, that cold little bit. That was always really difficult to get out of bed in the morning, but like this, I'm like, why you don't need to be motivated to do this.
Catchphrase is defy the odds.
Yeah, catchphrase, but yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
What I was just going to ask you is, where did you come up with that, and why did you?
Okay. So Defy the Odds, or Doddz is short for Defy the Odds, and that came from when I was doing the work as Pro Pig. The message that I was putting out was this positivity, you can achieve anything, the sort of motivational thing, but it also had this tie to local things that were going on with Stoke, like local stories and sort of local celebrities. But then I wanted to take it to a much broader angle, so I wanted to stop doing the Pro Pig stuff, but keep this Defy the Odds message. So that's the message I want to put out to the world. That's the message I want to leave behind. So that's where the name came from. And then Doddz was my first ever teacher, or my first teacher who sort of showed me that you can achieve anything that you want to achieve if you just work hard. He was called Ian Doddz. So it's like a nice little play in words. I've never told anybody that about eating Doddz.
What are your aims?
I would really like to continue this journey of self-improvement and just be the best version of myself, and also like to start inspiring other people. But I know the way that I'm going to be able to inspire more people is not necessarily try and help. If I try to help people now, I could maybe help like 10 to 15 people. But if I work on myself and build a voice or a community, then I think over time I'll be able to impact a lot more people. So I'd like to impact more people and sort of like spread like a good message. And then I'd also like to be able to provide for my like immediate family and support them. So they're the two aims: become the best version of myself and support and help others.
Next question is, what's your favourite Christmas tradition?
The answer's pigs in blankets, but